Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those trophy list analysis videos. Today's game is Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered for the PS5. So this is a remaster of the original Dead Rising from, I believe, 2005 is when it came out, but I could be wrong on that date. Anyway, the game releases worldwide on September 19th, 2024, and comes with 51 total trophies worth 1,305 points. 1 platinum, 3 golds, 2 silvers, and 45 bronzes to make up the list. So I'm going to go ahead and give my quick disclaimer here that I always give on these videos. I'm going into this as not necessarily like a super big mega fan of the franchise, but mostly as a trophy hunter looking at it from a trophy hunter perspective. Now that being said, I have never actually played the original Dead Rising. I do own it, but I've never actually played it. I have played through Dead Rising 2 quite a few times as well as off the record, but I've never played 1, 3, or 4. And along with all that, from what I've read, the trophy list is extremely similar, perhaps even identical to the original. So I guess that's good. If you've managed to do the original, you're definitely going to be able to do this one. I think that a lot of the difficulty from the original is supposedly more from the game just having a lot of issues, whether that be crashing or bad AI or anything else. So when it comes to the actual trophies, we have Goodbye Willamette. That is the Platinum Trophy. That is the trophy you get for completing all other trophies in the game for those of you that are new to trophy hunting. Welcome to Hell, starting out with a few bronze trophies. Visit the Willamette Parkview Mall. I'm assuming that's going to happen in like the intro because, well, that's the setting of the game. Zombie Hunter, Zombie Killer, and our first gold trophy, Zombie Annihilator. Defeat at least 1,000 zombies, 10,000 zombies, and 53,594 zombies. I believe that number, it's a reference to the population of Willamette, correct? I believe that's what it is. So, in the previous Dead Rising games, in Dead Rising 2, you had to do all 72,000 kills in that one in a single playthrough. It was the same with the original version of Dead Rising 1. Dead Rising 2, off the record, had a 100,000 kill trophy, but you could do it in the sandbox mode where you're allowed to save and go back to it. So it wasn't really that much of an issue. And I'm not sure if the third or fourth games actually had any trophies like that or achievements. But from what I've read, this trophy actually supposedly carries over between playthroughs now, or all of your kills do. And if that's true, then that is going to make this significantly easier, because then you don't have to dedicate an entire playthrough to getting 54,000 kills, basically. Now we have Self-Defense and Punisher. We're going back to bronze trophies here for defeating at least 1 and at least 10 psychopaths. Those are the bosses that you encounter throughout the game. I don't know if you have to do all of those in a single playthrough, but I guess we'll have to see. No thank you. Defeat at least 100 cultists, and Legendary Soldier, defeat at least 10 Special Forces soldiers. So a couple of kill-based trophies. I don't know if those have to be done in a single playthrough or if they carry over. We'll have to see. But I don't think either of those would be too terribly difficult to do even in a single playthrough, especially if you focus on them. Helicopter. Successfully repel a helicopter. Not sure exactly how that works, but it's a bronze, so it's probably not too difficult. Tour Guide and the Grateful 8. Escort 8 survivors at once and simultaneously escort 8 female survivors. So I'm assuming that they have not changed this aspect of the games to where only 8 survivors and psychopaths can appear in the world at any given time. So unless they've changed that, then you're going to need to have a very specific route set up to be able to get the 8 female survivors all at once. Because I don't think there's as many survivors in this game as there are in Dead Rising 2, so you have a little bit less room for error with something like that. Full set. Collect all portraits in the notebook. I assume that's like filling out the journal in Dead Rising 2, where every time you encounter someone, whether they be just a random NPC or if they're actually a survivor or psychopath, then that would always unlock the entry in the journal, and you just had to unlock all of them, so I'm assuming that's what this trophy is. Humanist and Saint, the latter being our next gold trophy. Get at least 10 survivors out of the mall, and get at least 50 survivors out of the mall. Now, I thought there were exactly 50 survivors in this game. I guess I could be wrong on that, but I thought it was exactly 50. But given that it says at least, maybe it's slightly more. And I'm assuming that both of those have to be done in a single playthrough. I'm assuming you have to get all 50 out, or however many it ends up being in a single playthrough. Photojournalist, take your first photograph. That's pretty self-explanatory and probably one of the first trophies you're going to get in the game. The Artiste, score at least 10,000 PP from a single photo. That should be easy. Just go to a certain area. Maybe you just, I think in Dead Rising 2, off the record, you just need to take a picture of 4 of the space dildos at once, I believe is what you could do for a trophy like that. Group photo, get 50 target markers with the camera. I don't know if that's 50 with a single photo or just 50 total. If it's 50 total, it's extremely easy. If it's 50 all at once, it might have to set it up in a specific area, but I'm sure it's not difficult. And I haven't seen a trophy on this list that says he covers wars, which is very surprising that they wouldn't put that in the game unless it's further down the list. Portraiture and census taker, the latter being a silver trophy. Photograph at least 10 survivors and photograph at least 30 survivors. I'm assuming you can't just photograph the same survivor 30 times. I'm assuming it has to be 30 different ones, and it probably all has to be done in a single playthrough. Psychophoto, photograph at least 4 psychopaths. Once again, I'm assuming it has to be 4 different ones and probably all in a single playthrough. PP photo and PP collector. These are for photographing 10 types of PP stickers and all of the PP stickers. That is basically just a collectible for this game. It shouldn't be difficult once there's a guide out for it. I'm sure there's already probably some guides getting ready to be released as soon as whenever the embargo lifts on this game, but that shouldn't be hard at all. Sharp dresser and clothes horse. These are for changing into at least 5 different costumes and into all costumes available in the game. I'm assuming that these trophies probably carry over between playthroughs because that's how they were in Dead Rising 2 when you had to change into all the different pieces of clothing. Otherwise, you'd have to dedicate a large portion of a playthrough to just focusing on those, and along with that, I'm not sure if any are actually missable in this game or not. Juice Freak. Create all types of mixed juice. Again, I don't know exactly how many there are, but there were only 9 or 10 of those in Dead Rising 2, so I'm sure it's not any more than that. Item Smasher. Break at least 30 items. That should come naturally just by playing through the game, because I'm sure that items will still break fairly often. Though, from what I've read, they have added in some sort of meter that actually tells you how much durability your items have, which is super nice. Bullet Point. Fire at least 300 bullets. That's pretty self-explanatory. Transmissionary for answering 30 calls. I assume that just means answering 30 different times when survivor missions and stuff pop up, and probably just during a single playthrough. Road Rage. Defeat at least 500 zombies with vehicles. I'm sure you'll get that while working toward the 53,000 kills. Free Fall. Drop from a height of at least 16 feet or 5 meters. I'm sure that's not too difficult. I'm sure you just jump off of a building somewhere. It also doesn't say you have to survive or not, so it's probably not an issue. Marathon Runner. Cover a distance of 26.2 miles or 42.195 kilometers. I don't know if that has to be done in a single playthrough. I'm assuming that probably carries over between playthroughs. If it does, it shouldn't be much of an issue. Strike. Send at least 5 zombies flying with 1 bowling ball. Solid trophy there. Surprising that there wasn't one like that in Dead Rising 2. Costume Party. Place novelty masks on at least 10 zombies. There's a trophy just like that in Dead Rising 2. It's not particularly hard. You just need to have your inventory space maxed out to be able to do it. Raining Zombies. Knock at least 10 zombies aside with a parasol. Pretty self-explanatory. Rampage. Defeat at least 100 enemies with a rocket launcher. I'm assuming that's not too difficult to do unless rocket launchers are just super, super rare. Karate Champ. Defeat at least 30 special forces barehanded. I hope you don't have to do that in a single playthrough because that's a bit excessive. But I mean, I'm sure it's not too difficult, just might take a little bit of time. Maybe there's a magazine that gives you way more unarmed damage. I'm sure there is, as I think there is in Dead Rising 2 as well. Zombie Road. Walk over 10 meters in total on the backs of zombies using the zombie ride. That sounds like fun. Carjacker. Steal the convict's vehicle. I don't know if that is a survivor-specific or psychopath-specific trophy, or if that might actually be part of the story. Again, this is one of the ones I haven't played yet. Stunt Rider. Jump a car or motorcycle at least 33 feet or 10 meters. I'm sure there's a specific place where you can set that up. Nice Shot. Send a golf ball flying for at least 100 meters or 330-ish feet. That probably isn't too difficult. Just maybe get into a large open area and just launch a golf ball. Never give up. Restart from the first day with Frank's current status. So if you guys don't know how Dead Rising works, what you can do is at any point when you save your game, if you die or quit, you can actually reset your story progress to the very beginning of the game, but you retain things like your level. You just don't retain some of your other stuff, like what items you have in your inventory and stuff like that. So that shouldn't be a problem, but you could also probably just knock it out right at the beginning of the game if you really wanted to. Mall Worker. Find the secret passageway. There were a few of those in Dead Rising 2, so shouldn't be a problem. Snuff Shot B and Snuff Shot J. Encounter Zombie Brad and Zombie Jesse. I don't know if those are story-related events or if those are context-specific encounters, or if those survivors, you have to specifically let them get turned and bitten by zombies or something. I'm not entirely sure how those work, so gonna need to look at a guide for those two for sure. Alright, down to the last few trophies. Level max, reach level 50. That's pretty self-explanatory. I know that level carries over between playthroughs. At least I assume that it does. I'd be very shocked if it didn't. Overtime mode, unveil all cases and be at the heliport at noon. So that's like finishing the facts in Dead Rising 2, so shouldn't be an issue with that. Just basically finish the main part of the story. And then infinity mode for getting the true ending, so that's presumably for finishing the overtime mode or whatever it's called in this game. I believe it's still called overtime mode. So just a couple of story completion trophies, nothing too difficult there at all. And finally, we have the 3 trophies related to infinity mode, and the last one of these trophies is considered to be by far the most problematic in the original version of Dead Rising. We have 3-Day Survivor, a bronze trophy for surviving at least 72 hours in the infinite mode, 5-Day Survivor for surviving at least 5 days in the infinite mode, that's a silver trophy, and then our final gold trophy, 7-Day Survivor for surviving at least 7 days in the infinite mode. Now in this game, 1 in-game day is equal to 2 real-life hours, so that means 14 hours of playing. However, supposedly, thanks to a lot of the quality of life enhancements, this one's going to not be anywhere near as difficult. Apparently, there is now a way that you can actually fast forward time, like you lay down on a couch somewhere or something, which is pretty crazy. That's going to make life a whole lot easier, especially if it's available in that game mode. Additionally, I believe the game now has an autosave feature to where you don't necessarily have to go into the bathrooms to save, which is also really, really helpful. And then the survivors' AI has been enhanced, so hopefully they don't act as stupid as they used to, so that's a huge plus. And then I'm just assuming that they fixed a lot of the bugs and glitches and other issues, at least I'm hoping they have, because that was a major issue with the first game, with the PS4 version at least, is that I was consistently having to worry that the game would just crash in the middle of a run, and that's kind of why I haven't done Dead Rising 1 yet, because with my luck, I know for a fact that the game will find a way to crash when I'm like 6.5 days in, because I just know that's what would happen with my luck. So as long as they fixed all those issues, then that trophy is going to be significantly easier, especially if they've added in an autosave feature, because with that, as well as the time speed up feature, because with those, that would mean that you probably could save your game and then back out and back up your save in case you screw up or the game crashes or something. So should make those trophies significantly easier. So overall thoughts on the trophy list, it should be easier than the original Dead Rising 1, because like I said, they're making a lot of quality of life enhancements, and it should make some of the more difficult trophies quite a bit easier. Now that being said, I believe this game is still considered to be somewhat challenging, mostly because of some of those issues that it used to have, but hopefully they've worked a lot of that out for this remaster, so hopefully that means that the game will be easier this time around and less time consuming. I would put the difficulty, if you can use that whole auto-saving and time jump feature in the in the infinite survival mode, if you can use some of that stuff and they fixed all the major bugs and issues, then this game's probably only about like a 4 out of 10 in overall difficulty. As for time, it depends on how quickly you can skip time by laying on the couch or whatever it is, because that would cut out a significant number of hours from the 7-Day Survivor trophy. So time might be something like 30 to 35 hours, especially if the zombies kills also carry over between playthroughs, because then you don't have to dedicate an entire playthrough to that crap. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already so you never miss one of these future videos. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster comes out worldwide on September 19th, 2024, most likely the day after this video goes up. And I will not be buying it day one, but I will definitely play it at some point. So again, thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to be playing it, and I'll see y'all back here real soon for another video.